That is one big pile of shit.
Well, buckle up and knock back a stiff drink, everyone, because it's time once again for another installment in the Jurassic Park/World Series, a film franchise about dinosaurs that started strong but has since become so mind-numbingly stupid and vapid and creatively bankrupt that it's made me hate dinosaurs. When I reviewed Jurassic World Dominion a couple years ago, I said that the original Jurassic Park film was the only film in the entire series that was actually genuinely good. And I stand by that. I will die on that fucking hill. Every film after that one has been lowering the bar, and unfortunately, that trend has continued. Now, I don't think Rebirth is the absolute worst film in the series, but I do think it's the most pointless. And that's really annoying because, while I never thought this movie would be good, I did have a tiny speck of hope that the people making it might have at least pulled their heads out of their butts, because they brought back David Coep, who wrote the script for the original film, the only one that had a good script, and Steven Spielberg was said to be working closely with him on the story. Not only that, but they said they were going to be adapting famous sequences from Michael Crichton's novel that they didn't have the technology to do back in the day. That was all good news. So I still didn't have much hope, but bringing back the brain trust that gave us the only good movie this series has produced, that's reason to be curious at least. Yeah, I shouldn't have been curious, because in the end, all Rebirth did was give me final confirmation that the creatives in charge of the Jurassic Park/World Series have absolutely nothing left in the tank. And I didn't even need to see the whole movie to get that message. They made it perfectly clear in the first 10 seconds. The movie begins and we see captions. Nobody cares about dinosaurs anymore. Also, the dinosaurs are nearly all dead now anyway, except for the ones on a couple islands around the equator. Okay, let's talk about the second part first. I thought the first Jurassic World trilogy was pretty damn awful. The first one was so-so, and then Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were almost unwatchably bad. But if that trilogy did one thing that had potential to be cool, despite the asinine way it was set up, it was taking the dinosaurs off the island and putting them out in the world. That opens up a lot of new creative possibilities and could be the basis for a whole new, bigger and better series, ideally with much smarter people making it. Dinosaurs are all over the world now. How does the world change because of that? If you can't come up with a story that is interesting and original and cool and fun with an absolute layup like that, then you shouldn't be making movies. The dinosaurs disrupt the global food chain, creating food shortages. The dinosaur population is exploding while other species are going extinct, which causes changes to the environment. The mosasaur breeds with a pod of orcas, and now the ocean is filling up with all these weird-ass hybrids. And this is just off the top of my head. Make a movie about that! Doesn't that sound interesting? Instead, the movie literally begins with, never mind, we're calling backsies. The dinosaurs out in the world aren't really a thing now, and we're going back to that stupid f***ing island again. Are you kidding me? You just spent the last 3 movies getting them off the island so you could do new things with them, and now they're just back on the island? You just rendered the entire previous trilogy completely pointless! And pointless is the key word here. I'll be coming back to that in just a minute. Now, sure, I didn't like the previous trilogy anyway, so I'm not really annoyed about it being thrown out. What I am annoyed about is my time being wasted. What I am annoyed about is this group of slack-jawed, paint-sniffing dipshits just changing their minds and walking back something that they previously told us had been the culmination that the entire series had built up to, because they never actually had a plan for what to do next. This is like opening up Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and on the first page, Rowling says, here's the thing. I decided that I want to take the story in a different direction, so books 4, 5, and 6, you can just forget about those. They don't matter anymore. And I hate to say it, and this was a problem with Dominion too, they still haven't fixed it, but the dinosaurs don't really matter anymore either. They're not special. They're just a thing that characters run from now. That's it. Nobody caring about dinosaurs is literally a plot point in a movie about dinosaurs. They've been normalized for years at this point, and the characters in the movie just don't give a shit now. Museum dinosaur exhibits are going out of business. One of the last few living dinos on the continent is blocking the street, and all it means is a traffic jam. Get that damn thing off the road, I'm late for my soccer practice. That's all it is. They're just big pests. some of which might eat you, and that never really changes. And so I have to ask this question. If the characters in the movie don't care about dinosaurs anymore, then why should the audience? And not only do they not have an answer to that, judging by what I just watched, I highly doubt they ever even thought about the question. And that tracks because there's almost no thought put into this movie at all. And you can tell because of how it is constantly trying to have its cake and eat it too at the expense of the story. People are bored with dinosaurs in one scene, but we also need the obligatory scene where people are awed and amazed by dinosaurs when you just told us that wasn't a thing anymore. The area where dinosaurs live is no man's land where they tell us no one is stupid enough to go. Then we cut to this annoying family of dumbasses on a sailing vacation, and guess where they are? Guess what happens to them? They tell us that dinosaurs can't survive out in the world because of the climate and the air and whatever, but then this little girl finds a cute little baby dinosaur she wants to adopt and bring home with her, except we know that if she brings it home with her, it's going to die because it won't be able to breathe the fucking air, which is conveniently forgotten about the second the producers have a new fucking toy to sell. The script is so damn lazy, I don't know how it even got greenlit. On top of all that other stuff, the plot is just the plots of JP 2 and 3 recycled and reskinned. There was another island we never knew about in addition to the first two, where InGen was keeping all the really dangerous dinosaurs and doing all sorts of tests to create these up hybrid monster species, although that idea goes absolutely fucking nowhere. So a team of mercs for hire go to the island because of reasons, and also there's the annoying family of dumbasses who wind up on the island too because we had no other ideas and we needed to pad the runtime. That's the whole movie. There really isn't that much story here at all, and the story they do have barely goes anywhere. The mutant monster dinosaurs idea could have been something, but there's only one monster dino, the D-Rex. The story isn't even about him, and it doesn't do a single damn thing that the T-Rex wouldn't or couldn't have done, so the whole thing is pointless. And while we're on the subject of pointless things, the annoying family of dumbasses take up a good 30 to 40% of the movie, and for the life of me, I could not tell you why they're even in this thing. Aside from, I'm assuming, a focus group telling the studio that the film needed more non-white people. They don't affect the story in any way. There's plenty of scenes of them running from dinosaurs, but why do they need to exist in the narrative? They don't. You cut them out of the movie altogether and the story is exactly the same. That famous scene from the book where people in a boat are being chased by the T-Rex in the water? Cool scene, sure. It's well directed, the effects are nice, but there's no point to it. They get chased by the T-Rex, they escape the T-Rex, and that's it. The film moves on, and we never even see the T-Rex again. Like every other scene with the annoying family of dumbasses, it contributes nothing to the story and didn't need to be there. And even the characters who do need to be there aren't that interesting. Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali have a scene early on where they talk about how some former teammate of theirs that we never see is dead, and her mom is dead, and him and his wife broke up after their son died, and you'd think that stuff would factor into the rest of the movie somehow, but it doesn't. It amounts to nothing and goes nowhere. The characters are just empty shells for the most part. The three leads sort of have personalities at least, but it's just surface level stuff. We're meant to think that Scarlett Johansson's character has changed by the end, but she really hasn't. Nothing she went through in the movie informs the decision she makes in the final scene. It's just, oh, our lead character needs an arc, so we'll just tack something on at the end and pretend that this is what the whole movie built up to when it really didn't. The script just didn't have any ideas for these characters, or for much of anything else. They had ideas for specific action sequences, like the Mosasaur scene and the T-Rex scene. Again, well directed, there's nothing wrong with them exactly, but that doesn't really matter because you just don't care about the story or any of these people, so it's just visual noise. Beyond that, I guess they cared about doing callbacks to the original Jurassic Park film. There's a ton of those, not that they matter at all. All they end up doing is shining a light on this film's lack of originality because they're so quick to hit copy paste and transplant scenes from a much better movie so they can do them over here, just not as well. Sorry dudes, but nostalgia bait only gets you so far, and if you're not bringing anything else to the table, it really doesn't get you anywhere. And one more thing. What's the deal with the title, Jurassic World Rebirth? World implies that it's worldwide, and rebirth implies that something is growing or coming back or beginning again. This film is about the exact opposite. The dinosaurs in the world have pretty much died out, and we're taking the franchise back to factory settings. Jurassic Island Retread would be a more accurate title. At least that one would make sense. This franchise has absolutely no ideas left at all, and this movie is a pointless waste of time. Terrific actors like Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are completely wasted spending the entire film on autopilot. The potentially cool premise of dinosaurs being all over the world now is just thrown out so they could go back to the same tired scenario that they'd run out of ideas for 3 movies ago. The few new things they thought up for this movie they don't do anything with. Damn near half the film is nothing but filler. These people aren't even trying anymore. It's just a loose collection of dinosaurs attack scenes and callbacks to the first movie strung together with a paper-thin plot and some of the flattest characters you'll see in a movie this year. All just so Scarlett Johansson's character could make a choice in the final scene that will likely mean nothing and will have been completely forgotten by the time the next movie comes along. And there will always be a next one. The audience still enjoys watching dinosaurs f shit up, so they'll probably keep going to see these movies no matter how bad they get. And sure, they're a reliable paycheck for anyone who works on them, but it kind of seems like that's all the Jurassic Park / World / Island films have become now. None of the creatives involved are putting their best foot forward anymore, and they haven't been for a very long time. Is it as insultingly terrible as Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were? No, but Rebirth never rises above bland mediocrity, which in a way is worse. As much as I didn't like those movies, at least they were about something. The things they were about were stupid as hell, but they were trying to do stuff. Rebirth isn't about anything. And if you can't put in a little more effort than that, then what am I here for? I'd say it's time for this franchise to go extinct, but I already said that when I reviewed Dominion. So instead, I'll end the review with this. There is nothing in Jurassic World Rebirth that you need to see. I'm sick of these shitty movies. I'm sick of dinosaurs. Bring on a second Ice Age. Let's get out of here. Thanks so much for watching. While you're here, ding that bell icon and follow all of my social media so you can always be notified when I upload new stuff. The links are down there. And this channel is a one-man operation. I do all this stuff myself, so help me out by doing all the other YouTube things. Smashing that like button, leaving a comment, sharing the video, subscribing if you haven't already, and making sure you're still subscribed, because what really deserves to mostly die off from the world and be confined to some stupid island far away from me is the YouTube algorithm. That's all for now. I'll be back with the Ironheart review very soon. I'm sorry for the delay on that. It's coming. I just had to do this one first. Take care. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time.